we're going to look at this from an economic welfare standpoint. A lot of us tended to like the economic welfare part of this course, so we're going to keep looking at that. So I have a bunch of areas. So what I've basically done is I've put in an original price line, and this is where price would be set in perfect competition. And then I have a new price line where price is set under imperfect competition. So we're going to put a bunch of letters in here. And note that your book uses numbers, but the first time I tried to teach this with numbers, the students kept adding them up instead of just putting 1 + 2 + 3. They would tell me 6, so I changed it to letters. So what we're going to look at is consumer surplus, producer surplus, and society. And we're going to look at perfect competition and imperfect. So under perfect competition, your consumer surplus would be above your price line and to the left of your demand curve. So this is our demand curve over here. So we would have A, B, C, D, E. Your producer surplus would be below the price line and to the left of your supply curve, which is the same as your marginal revenue curve. So we would have F, G, and H. And so society has everything. Then under imperfect competition, we have a new supply curve. So this straight line is now our supply curve, so remember that. So under imperfect competition, this is our new price line. So above our price line and to the left of the demand curve, we would have A and B as consumer surplus. Below the price line and to the left of supply, so I'm kind of trying to block that off, so we would have C, D, F, and G. So then society as a whole has A, B, C, D, F, and G. So you'll note that we've totally lost this area of E and H. It is gone, and we call that dead weight loss. That's also something I would like you to know. You won't necessarily have to put all the letters in and come up with this on your own, but if I show you this graph and ask you what areas E and H stand for, I would like you to be able to tell me that that is what we call dead weight loss. Nobody gets it under imperfect competition because they chose to set their price way up here. This chart up here is also on page 190 in your notes. You will be asked to fill out one of these charts for a quiz. So I would make sure to study how to fill it out. So you'll be given the top part of perfect competition, monopolistic, oligopolies, and monopolies. And you'll be given on the side talking about number of sellers, ease of entry, and product differentiation and examples. And you will need to be able to fill it out. So something that we haven't talked about, an example of a monopoly, since no true monopolies actually exist. The only example that we could talk about is what we call utilities. And utilities are very localized. If you live in Sterling, the only place that you can get Sterling water, or you can get water from, is there's one place. You have one option. And that's essentially a monopoly. Now, utilities in and of itself, there are various types of utility companies that exist, which is kind of how they get away with not being called out as a monopoly. But that's probably your best bet for an example of what a monopoly is. As much as we'd like to say that Walmart is, or as much as we'd like to say that Microsoft is, they're really not. So really the only answer that you can put there as an example of a monopoly would be utilities.